tonight. Cold Lake gets ready to take flight, and
we felt that there was an opportunity to grow the economic development on a regional basis.
City Council agrees to sign up for an Alberta Hub membership. Plus, a Lloydminster teen has been crowned Miss Ukrainian Canada.
This is Newcap News with Michaela Henshaw.
Good evening. The Alberta Serious Incident Response Team is investigating a fatal police shooting. RCMP from Elk Point were called to the Frog Lake First Nation yesterday. Police said a standoff lasted for several hours with a negotiator attempt to make contact with people inside a home. Later, a confrontation occurred, which resulted in police discharging their firearms. A man was struck and died. No officers were hurt, and ACERT has now taken over the investigation. Well, the Cold Lake Airshow takes flight this weekend at Four Wing Air Base, promising another year of entertainment in the sky and back down on the ground. Our Brett Holden tells us about some of the main attractions.
There's just something so powerful about seeing and feeling one of these machines in flight, isn't there? This weekend there will be plenty of exhilaration at the Four Wing Air Base as the Airshow celebrates the 60th anniversary of the North American Aerospace Defense Command, or NORAD.
We're going to have aircraft from right across the whole range of spectrum that are involved in the NORAD mission. So we will have tanker aircraft that are here, an AWACS command and control aircraft, and then each of the 4 fighter aircraft that are fulfilling NORAD missions will be here.
Aircraft like the C-17 Globemaster and the F-22 Raptor, which is the most advanced fighter jet on the planet. This is the only Canadian airshow with the Raptor on display in 2018.
You may have come to air shows before and you've seen the F-18, you've seen some of our other acts. The F-22 can do things in the sky that are going to defy the laws of aerodynamics.
The crowd will also be treated to displays from the Snowbirds and several decorated civilian performers like Rob Holland, who's making his first appearance at Cold Lake.
And I'm going to be trying to show people things they've hopefully never seen an airplane do before. Weird tumbling over ends and flying backwards and all sorts of really cool, fun stuff.
There's going to be lots of people around here who have an opportunity to see, the gem that is the Lakeland. And they may not have had a reason to come here, but this is a draw for them. And we're happy to open up the doors for CFB Cold Lake to our neighbors, our Canadians, and American guests who are going to be here. And so we can brag a little bit about our part of the world.
In addition to the show in the sky, people can see the planes up close with a show and tell on the airstrip. There's a Corvette-themed car show happening and an all-ages concert as well. The festivities begin Friday afternoon and run through Sunday. For Newcap News, I'm Brendan Escott.
The City of Lloydminster has agreed to sign for an Alberta Hub membership for the remainder of the year. The Alberta Hub promotes, facilitates economic development for industries like agriculture, transportation, plus oil and gas. Lloydminster hasn't been a member since 2011.
That there was an opportunity to grow the economic development on a regional basis as well and become an active player in the area that's adjacent to us to the west.
Mayor Albers hopes the membership will give Lloydminster a more stable presence for economic development.
Now, all of a sudden, it's going to help highlight the work that we're doing as a city. We'll do it as an area, and hopefully we'll get more provincial exposure as well and take us to the next step of national and international through that group, rather than us simply marketing ourselves to the world.
The cost of the membership is $10,000 annually, but the city will pay a prorated amount of $5,000 entering in partway through the year. And Lloydminster City Council has approved to change out a set of street lights in the border city. The 2018 signal project was approved by council for just over $440,000.
Going to replace some lighting, going to help improve the lighting at the intersection of 62nd and 44th Street. It's the Meridian, there's a lot of trucks turning. We've lost a lot of the center light poles, so what they're proposing is removing those center light poles, and we'll have a different set of traffic lights.
Mayor Albers expects the project will be complete by the end of October. Well, family violence isn't just a woman issue, it's a people issue. And support for an abuser plays a critical role in the steps towards ending the cycle of violence. As we see in this month's In Your Community, the Interval Home has been providing support for men for over 2 decades.
In the early 90s, the Lloydminster Interval Home became one of the first organizations to offer support to men who use abusive behavior in their relationships.
We know that men are a big piece of this and that they're struggling, impacted again by this cycle of violence. It was actually pretty groundbreaking and continues to be in that there's not as many services for men who are impacted by family violence.
The New Perspectives for Men is a 16-week program that gives men the tools and skills they need to live a violence-free lifestyle while also learning the importance of respect and equality in their relationships.
We know that to make real change happen, we have to support the men and give them an opportunity to learn new skills, to really grow and develop and be able to create healthy relationships.
Family violence shows no boundaries and can affect anyone regardless of gender, culture, or economic status, which is why programs dedicated to everyone involved is integral.
Lloydminster, our community, is impacted, and the surrounding communities are impacted by family violence.
100% of children who witness family violence are negatively impacted. Programs like this help the next generation before unhealthy actions become habits.
We really need to try and be preventative. So when we help the father in the family, or the mother, or whatever that family relationship looks like, when we help the adults, immediately we're doing something for those children. And we can break that pattern.
The City of Lloydminster is releasing a guide to keep you up to date with activities happening this fall. The calendar includes exhibits, activities, and classes hosted by city facilities and arenas around the community.
It covers all our city facilities. So it covers the Service Sports Centre, the Lloydminster Cultural and Science Centre, the BioClean Aquatic Centre, Bud Miller All Seasons Park, the Lloydminster Golf and Curling Centre. So all our facilities, it's got some programs and events that happen across the city.
The 48-page guide contains more than 150 events and program opportunities.
Swimming lessons to fitness classes. We got a lot of new cultural programs that are happening at the Cultural Centre. So classes for adults. We've got a Mummy and Me class happening over there, so that's exciting. The Service Sports Centre, what we have for new events is we've got a basketball camp and we've got some power skating happening here too.
Copies of the calendar are available at city facilities and at the City of Lloydminster website. The Miss Ukrainian Canada show happens every other year, and this year's show included one Lloydminster teenager who had a pretty successful first appearance. Our Brett Holden has her story.
The first ever Miss Ukraine Canada show happened in 1955, and come 2018, 18-year-old Yulia Shcherban would enter her first ever competition, thanks to the encouragement from a friend who participated in the competition in 2016.
And after doing the show, she messaged me and she encouraged me to apply for this year's show. And at first I didn't know, I wasn't sure, and then it was the very last day, it was the last deadline to apply, and I decided I would send in my application.
Being on the big stage, most of Yulia's competitors were nervous, but Yulia fell on her figure skating background to calm her nerves.
It definitely helped having an experience of people watching you and having an audience. And when I had to be out on that stage, I didn't feel as nervous as some of the other contestants, and I was even a little surprised by this.
Which ended up helping Yulia take home a win in her first ever competition.
So I'm kind of getting the feel for it, but it's definitely exciting, and I'm super happy, just honored, first of all, to be a finalist in this show and being able to represent Alberta and my city from Ukraine. And winning is just, I still can't really believe I won.
9 months after their father, the Shcherban family came to Canada from a town in western Ukraine called Drohobych, but it wasn't an easy change for her.
So he moved there first, and then 9 months later, my mom, my brother, and I, we joined him in Canada, in Lloydminster. And at first, it was very hard because I didn't know any English, and I went to school.
So how did she learn the language?
I remember I was 6 years old, and my mom would buy me like English books for me to read and all sorts of educational things. But I felt that didn't help me as much as just going to school and like talking with my classmates, my teachers.
As for what's next for Yulia,
I was accepted into the University of Toronto, so I'm very excited to move there, especially because I've been living in Lloydminster for the past 12 years of my life, and even the city that I grew up in, Ukraine, wasn't very big. So I think it's definitely going to be a really cool experience moving to a city as big as Toronto.
Brett Holden, Newcap News.
Well, Cold Lake is the place to be this weekend. Here's Boom 95.3's Pete Jackson with all of your Airshow details in What's Happening.
Hey, what's going on? It's Pete Jackson for Boom 95.3. Here's what's happening in Cold Lake this weekend. And it's a really big weekend here in the city of Cold Lake with the Airshow, 2018 Cold Lake Airshow happening Saturday and Sunday over at Four Wing. Now, one of the cool things about this Airshow weekend is they're not waiting until Saturday to get it going. It's actually already going right now in the city of Cold Lake. They're having the Full Throttle Street Festival. That's on 50th Avenue in Cold Lake, or Main Street in Cold Lake. And the action got going at 3 o'clock this afternoon. A lot of different family activities. You bring the kids down, there's going to be bouncing castles, face painting, things of that nature. But happening throughout the evening tonight on the main stage, they've got 3 bands performing, including a local band, State of Empire, Lex Justice, and then at 8 o'clock, Canadian rock icons Big Sugar will be headlining the night, and they'll be playing for about an hour and a half, 2-hour set. There's a beer gardens for the adults, and this one is absolutely free to attend. Free admission to kick off Airshow weekend here in Cold Lake. Now that leads us into the 2018 Cold Lake Airshow happening Saturday and Sunday on Four Wing. And one of the unique things about this Airshow this year is that the United States Air Force is bringing up their F-22 fighter jets. And this is really cool because apparently this is the only air show in Canada that the F-22s will be at. So I've been told from some military personnel in town here that some of the maneuvers, some of the things that the F-22s are able to do in the sky will leave people looking up to the sky and really questioning, like, how did that work? Because apparently the technology is so advanced with these aircraft that this really is a unique thing that's going to be happening exclusively in Canada to the Cold Lake Air Show. So for more information about the Air Show and to get your tickets ahead of time, and by the way, they're saying that they've already sold roughly 12,000 pre-order tickets through their website, and they're expecting crowds even double that, right around the 25,000 mark for the 2 days this weekend. So I would highly suggest get your tickets for the Cold Lake Air Show ahead of time. You can find more information about the Air Show and what you're going to see there online, coldlakeairshow.com. If you've got an event you want featured on What's Happening, easiest way to get a hold of me, shoot me an email, pete@boom953.ca.
This is Newcap Sports.
Well, tonight the Lloydminster Extreme journey north for another Junior B tier lacrosse postseason matchup against the Lakeland Heat. Josh Ryan has more on how the squad believes this is the year they will finally break through.
There was a restlessness in the Civic Center during this week's practices for the Lloydminster Extreme, not just because of the weekend's playoff matchup, but because the opposition, the Lakeland Heat, have ended their season for 2 straight years.
It really starts to eat at you at night and you're thinking about it. I know I've been thinking about it for a while.
The Extreme rounded into form nicely in early May, and after a week between their dismantling of the Edmonton Warriors and now, there's plenty of energy left over.
High tempo, the boys were going at it and just prepping ourselves for the games this weekend.
Defense has been the anchor for this team, but matching the Heat's high-powered offense will help turn the game in their favor.
Our systems are good. We just need to be able to put the ball in the back of the net, and that's going to be key, I think.
We're going in there bar and just got to play it like a home game, walk in there and just do our thing out there.
A possible advantage, despite playing on the road, is that the Heat will likely have some rust, making the first 10 minutes an opportunity to take control of the series.
They haven't played in almost a month now because of the way the scheduling has worked. So, we got to come out and we got to get it going right away.
And getting the energy and motivation to have a hot start shouldn't be difficult for this group.
A lot of new faces and a lot of guys that kind of came in, had to kind of get into the system quick, and we all kind of came together real nice. A lot of good friendships and some of my best friends on this team, and it just feels right this year. We've had some real moments, so it's a lot on the line.
I think they're sick of being disappointed second round, and I really think we're going to be, we'll have some smiles in the room after the second round for the first time in a while.
Josh Ryan, Newcap Sports.
All right, welcome back, everyone. By this time of the show, you and I are always very hungry.
We're starving.
And this, and this next story doesn't help any of that. Nope. We just want to go out and eat because Taste of Wainwright took over downtown yesterday. Courtney Ray from our sister station Boom and Wayne FM was there to take in all of the delicious food. Some of the items this year included blueberry barbecue ribs, dill pickle wings. Okay, Gerard.
And dessert.
And yep, for dessert, a piece of maple pecan cheesecake.
Does anyone have some of that still in their freezer?
Yeah. Oh, that would be good.
I'd drive to Wainwright now to taste that.
I know. It's too bad it was only last night, or else I would have gone for the weekend.
For sure.
Lloyd needs a taste of Lloyd.
Well, actually, we did have something like that not too long ago. Synergy was celebrating their 75th anniversary.
Yeah.
And of course, it happened while we were here.
Exactly.
Of course, we could have gone after too, but.
Yeah. But
oh, well.
We'll have to start our own
next
Taste
year.
of Lloyd next year.
Next year, when
we're putting it on.
Yeah, when they're celebrating. Oh, we can, do that.
We will eat all the food. How do you feel about what was that blueberry ribs though?
How we feel after we eat all that food.
Would you eat blueberry ribs?
It sounds tasty to me.
I'm not a big rib fan, but I like blueberries.
Well, there you go.
There you go. Best of both worlds. Okay, we'll leave you with that, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Enjoy
Take
the
care.
weekend.